Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to this panel discussion, Journeys in Enterprise Modernization through API Management. My name is Dakshita Ratnayaka. I'm a Director in Developer Relations at WSO2. So regarding the topic, API management has become a strategic necessity and not a technical afterthought anymore. In enterprise modernization. But enterprise modernization is not a straightforward journey with factors like legacy systems, evolving security threats, compliance hurdles, and the pressure to innovate. These have all played a key role in shaping API strategies. So fortunately, we have a panel of experts here today with us who have dealt with these issues, who are experts in API management in their respective industries. So we have experts from all various industries ranging from insurance, banking, public sector, and security. So before we dive in, let me introduce our panelists. So our first panelist is Kamidu Punchihewa, who serves as an API security specialist at Nationale-Nederlanden, also known as NN, which is one of the largest insurance and asset management companies based in the Netherlands. And the next panelist is Nordanlind, who is an IT architect at Bolagsverket. So Bolagsverket is the Swedish company's registration office, a government agency which mainly handles the registration of new companies in Sweden. And we then have Jürg Schärer, who is the product owner for API management at Deutsche Bank, which likely needs no introduction as it stands among the world's leading financial service providers. Next, we have Ricardo Lozano, who is a principal architect at Securitas Direct by Verisure. So Verisure is the leading provider of professionally monitored security systems in Europe and Latin America. Last, but definitely not the least, we have Simon Moritz. He's an author and thought leader with 2 decades of experience in AI, telecom, and digital transformation. Simon has written a book, and in this book, which is called Pickaxe Principles, he explores how to bridge silos and build API-driven ecosystems to drive meaningful change. Right, so now that we have done the introductions, I have a question for all the panelists. So the question is, enterprise modernization means different things in different industries. So what does it mean in your organization, and how has API management played a role in that transformation? So we'll start with Kamidu.
For us, enterprise modernization basically evolves around improving operational excellence in order to cater a better customer experience, right? So in this world, the customer expectations change rapidly, as well as with the political and uncertainties we have, macroeconomical changes needs to be dealt with, especially with insurance and financial area that we work on. So what we focus on, creating a landscape for our engineers. We have around 2,000 engineers working on creating different experience and products for our end users, for them to innovate in a rapid manner so they can reuse the technologies that has been created, and focus on the things that just need to be created newly to improve our offerings to our customers. In that, we have created an API-based landscape with micro architecture-based new innovations, as well as we have lots of legacy systems that needs to be dealt with, because we have a history of around 175 years. So we have fronted an API management solution and create APIs so people can reuse the technologies that we have within and create new technologies and capabilities, and bundle them together as experience for our customers. So the APIs plays a major role in it, and then API management came into picture. So we have an API management platform that facilitate these building blocks to all their engineers.
So Per, what is it like in public services?
Yeah, so our main business is register companies, and we do that in an old monolithic beast of a system. COBOL code, really old, needs to be modernized. So we did that by drawing up a system map where we have smaller IT systems with a clear and defined scope. We use event-driven architecture to feed data between these systems, but also a lot of synchronous sync APIs. So this old monolithic system is still there. So we started all this journey by doing an API-first approach. So we modernized our registration APIs going into the system, and out from the system we deliver information to customers, and those APIs were also modernized. So we started there, and obviously we needed an API portal for that. Earlier it was, the old APIs were all over the place.
Hey Jürg, what are your thoughts?
So from personal experience, I would say APIs and microservices are key here. So the microservices allow the coexistence of what we call in the past probably legacy systems and modernized patterns. And a good example here is instant payment. Now in the past, the money transfer took probably a day or even longer. And today we do it in 5 seconds. But still the system of record is the same as before. And by providing the APIs in a single place, easy searchable, I think we can foster the reuse. And finally, I think an API definition and contracts are supporting the collaboration between providers and consumer teams.
Ricardo.
Well, as you said before, we are leaders nowadays, but we started small in the security monitor systems. So we started with some small amount of IoT devices, but nowadays we have millions of IoT devices and sending millions of signals per second. And that IoT devices are consuming continuously services that we have in our backends. And as far as our business is protecting people, we can fail. So we need to take care of that, to be able to scale horizontally, to control very well all the dependencies, to have a very nice observability. And we need to grow to our technology stack in an ordered way, and that's the reason we need to modernize. And we need to rely on some kind of governance, API governance, and to be able to manage all that API world in a proper way, because if not, we can fail our customers, and that's not the way to do the things. So that's it.
Simon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so in my book, Pickaxe Principles, I'm sharing a lot of great things. It's about AI and how to thrive in this AI gold rush. So one of the use cases that I'm sharing is also in transport and vehicle transport. And there we have, for instance, today there are 1.5 million people that dies every day in traffic accidents, and over 5 million are severely injured. A majority of those are vulnerable road users, and they could be saved if the vehicles and the highway tracks could communicate with the bicycles and pedestrians and the motorcyclists that comes around the blind corner. So for me, APIs is not only a business nice to have, it's things that we can actually help the different assets to talk, and by that also saving lives.
Okay, so I have some questions for each of you. So Per, this one is for you. Since you're in the public sector, how do you ensure that APIs in the public sector services remain secure and accessible while meeting citizen expectations?
Yeah, we started our transformation building a specific domain for information sharing. I mean, we do register companies, but we also, this is an open register. We have to share the information. And then it's used a lot in the private business and by other authorities. So we build up a specific information delivery domain where we store the data for APIs use. The old APIs were actually hitting the registration system, and we had performance issues over the past. So a specific domain catered for information sharing, where we use document-based databases, so we speed up the delivery. We got really good performances out of that. We also use GraphQL APIs because the documents are rather big, but users just want part of that information. So yeah, that's what we do. And of course, introduced an API portal with all the security things and so on.
Thank you. Jürg, this one's for you. So fraud and financial crime are obviously growing concerns globally. And banking APIs must be secure and compliant while also providing great customer experience. So how do you manage that balance?
That's a good question. So basically for our retail customers, we are providing different channels. So we have online banking, mobile banking, and we always try to make security a seamless flow. But these type of customers never access an API directly. But that's different for our corporate customers or for fintechs. There we are providing an external developer portal. You can find it under developerdb.com. And here we are applying the same KYC processes as we do for retail customers. Now, when it comes to API security, we are applying industry best practices like strong authentication, encryption, you name it. But on stage, I don't want to go into these details.
Yeah, okay. Kamidu, this one is for you. So the question is, insurance companies handle highly sensitive customer data. So what are the biggest API security challenges you faced so far? And what have you done to address them or mitigate them?
So far what we have seen is we have seen multiple attempts of unauthorized access, people trying to breach in and try to get some data out of the APIs. So we have a central API management platform, and then we have extensions added to that, built on top WSO2, of course, to have fine and coarse grain authentication, which is unique to NN. And it allows us to make sure the data that we share is only shared with the intended parties. And the level of authentication and level of checks, we have standardizations and regulations in place. Depending on the confidentiality level, it goes higher. So we have all the technical nitty-gritties around, web access firewalls, O2, etc. Apart from that, what we have utilized with WSO2 is to create our own fine-grained authentication mechanism to make sure that we do not drop into the enterprise, because all these standards are well aware with the hackers. So we have our own way of protecting in addition to the standard that we have. So that's how we have tackled these people who are trying to get access to not their data.
Thank you, Kamidu. Ricardo, in the smart security space, with APIs connecting so many IoT devices, how do you ensure these APIs remain secure and reliable in the long run?
Well, we need to think a lot about the scalability in our case, because we have like two axes. One of them is the amount of IoT devices we have, and we need to rely on multi-cloud and multi-data centers deployment. That way, we can afford some kind of outages that the customer doesn't suffer, because we can balance across data centers, across clouds environments, and we have invested also a lot in observability in order to be able to manage that, because we can fail, as we said before. We also rely on implementing with the API manager we have from your side, implementing all the security standards in order to ensure that the traffic is not being intercepted by anyone, in order to keep on time when you send a signal and you need to command something to send an alarm or whatever. So that's the idea. And I'm really surprised with the different API gateways you are able to manage with the new control plane approach you have right now, because for us it's pretty useful because we have different API gateways in different places, and being able to manage from just one place and taking advantage of the API gateways for Amazon or whatever, for us is very, very useful. So we will take advantage of that in the future.
That's nice to hear. Simon, as an independent consultant, you work across different industries, right? So what common digital transformation or modernization challenges have you come across?
Yes, I'm sure that we all feel the same things. Cybersecurity, privacy, and legacy systems, we've all seen them. But one of the biggest challenges I've seen so far is actually the lack of interoperability. And it causes a lot of silos in the organizations. And it's not only when in transport and traffic, when the different cars and the bikes cannot talk, but it's also subsystems internally. And this is not making the best case for making a thriving business, neither internally nor externally. So lack of interoperability, I would say.
Okay, so the next question I would like to ask everyone in general, like what role does API governance play in your organization, and how do you ensure consistency across teams? Maybe we can start with Jürg. Would you like to start?
Sure. So that's an important topic for a bank. And we have developed our own internal and external developer portals. And with these portals, we are creating a unified experience for our users. So we are able to apply filters. We are able to check that the taxonomy is attached to an API. And our users can deploy their APIs and subscriptions from that portal to the various installations we have. And they basically never directly interact with the target system. And that's all possible because the WSO2 control plane offers a lot of APIs for its functionality, which we have easily integrated into our own portal.
Got it. Per, what about you? How do you ensure governance across teams?
The Swedish Digitalization Authority publishes what is called the REST API profile, which states rules and specification on how public authorities should create APIs. But it is a document, and we have other documents around how our error messages should look like and so on. But I think it is an area where we need to improve. And maybe the WSO2 functionality that was for governance is something we want to look into.
Kamidu, what are your governance requirements?
So we are dealing with personal data as an insurance company, and then we play a major role in financial industry as well. So we are enforced to comply to different regulations within EU, as well as an organization, we have our own standards as well. So we let our engineers to be innovative. So we give them the freedom that they need, but we enforce a set of guardrails so they don't mistakenly or intentionally go out of the regulations and expose something that is not compliance anymore. So we have built a governance engine on top of the WSO2 gateways and the API management solutions that we have that gives and compliance and as well as standard API as soon as an engineer wants to have an API. So we provide building blocks which is regulated. So engineers can have their fun and innovative things, as well as an organization, we stay compliant. So that for us, governance is a very major requirement, and we are happy to have a good governance engine on WSO2.
Okay. Ricardo, I would love to hear I'd love to hear what products, what WSO2 products you use, or how WSO2 fits into your API strategy, and what value it has brought to your organization?
Well, that's a very good question because we have a very nice relationship with the solution architect from WSO2, and we are all the time having a lot of conversation about not what you have in the portfolio right now. So talking about what we like to have in the future. So in that way, we are like taking advantage of the mic. Okay, we are taking advantage of the AP manager and the API gateway approach we have, and incorporating, as I said before, in that multi-cloud and multi-data center environment. And we are all the time thinking about when we can upgrade to the next version to take advantage to implement different architectures. So we are moving forward in that way. We also have we started with the DSS layer to access the data a long time ago. Now it's micro-integrator, right? And we are still learning how to take advantage of each new feature you have. So we have a very big adoption of your products, let's say, to get a better API management in our side.
Simon, what about you? How have you used WSO2 API Manager or any other of our products in enterprise modernization?
Yeah, I think so I've been in different industries, and one industry is telecommunication, of course. And there, 2 weeks ago, we had this massive conference here just down the road in Barcelona, Fira Grande Via. We gathered over 100,000 people, tech experts in mobile telephony. And they talked about a lot of great stuff, of course, AI, all the common ones. But one of the top 3 that my former manager, Jenny Lindqvist, told, which is now the VP of Cloud and Services at Ericsson, she mentioned that the APIs are the kind of the glue. So one of the top 3 was APIs and the strategy of how to link the different things together in the telecommunications, and likewise in other industries as well. So we have the same thing in Drive Sweden, and then we tried also to harmonize that. So I'm thinking like APIs, like the Lego bricks that we've seen throughout the days here. But if you don't define those, the shapes of the small dots on the Lego bricks, we cannot connect it, and then we cannot build something together. The cool thing with the Lego is that you can just imagine something. And someone said that, I think it was Abraham Lincoln that said the best way to create the future is the best way to predict the future is to create it. And I think we can create it together if we have those right APIs. But then we need to harmonize those dots on the Lego bricks. Otherwise, we cannot glue or stick the things together. So, and the way we done that is also using, in order to harmonize it, is to use a marketplace. So we try to expose, this is what we've done, and we can do some JSON formats, and then we can all agree if that was a good thing or not. And then eventually it will harmonize and stabilize, and we find the right dots.
Thank you, Simon. And Jürg, how does WSO2 fit into Deutsche Bank's API strategy, and what value has it brought?
Yeah, so with WSO2, we are managing hundreds of APIs, thousands of subscriptions, and millions of transactions every day. We deploy the gateways where our users are, but as I said earlier, managing them from a central portal. And for me, with my strong production management background, I think 100% reliability is probably one of the most important pieces. And we were not running into any severe incident for the last nearly 2 years.
That's nice. Per, what insights do you have about using WSO2 products for enterprise modernization?
Well, we used the portal, the management portal, and we were in a situation where we didn't have anything like that, and our APIs were spread out in the organization with different documentations and different security methods. So that really brought everything together in one place and made it a lot more clear for our customers.
And Kamidu, what do you have to say?
Yeah, so WSO2 API Manager and Micro Integrator, those are the 2 things that we use at the moment. So the extensive customizations that allowed by WSO2 API Manager helps us to productize the service offering for our stakeholders, right? So we wanted to modernize in such manner we can have rapid delivery of experiences and capabilities. So with the financial organization, it comes with a lot of baggages. So you need to be compliant, you need to fill out a lot of security details, and then you need to register all these extension point in different systems. So what we did, we customized WSO2 in such manner. When an engineer simply go and deploy an API, he gets the API with everything included. So we productized the offering with the WSO2 API Manager's capabilities. It allows our engineers to focus on the business aspect of the things, not just the compliances, not just the configuration management. The platform that we have created with WSO2 provides that as a product. So I think the customizations and the extensions point WSO2 API Manager provides us helps us immensely to achieve that level.
Thank you, Kamidu. So this has been a fantastic discussion and we are running out of time. So thank you for sharing your experiences. And before we wrap up, I'd like you to share a key takeaway. If you had to give one piece of advice to enterprises looking to modernize, what would it be? Kamidu, do you want to go ahead?
I would say fail fast, embrace challenges, and be agile.
Per, what is your advice?
When we started, we had problems with no information models clear, no terms really defined on what we were supposed to call things. So that's the key takeaway. Have that in place before you start.
Thank you.
So I would say run 100% reliable gateways, share your logs with the stakeholders, and foster reuse.
Well, from my side, I will strongly recommend, if you want to move fast, embrace automation, because that way you will be able to incorporate fastly whatever you need and to adapt new technologies, new trends, and whatever. And of course, remain as platformless as possible, as you said.
Simon?
Know the way, go the way, and show the way. I think we have had a number of great days here. Now we know the way. Now it's time to go out there and go the way. But we should not forget about showing the way, building the blueprints and the examples on how to use the APIs in a good way. I think WSO2 is great, but it's a well-kept secret for a lot of these companies out there. So let's share the message.
Thank you, Simon. So a huge thank you to our wonderful panelists for their insights and to all of you for joining. I'm not sure if we have time for questions. I was told no. So if you want to continue the discussion, you can definitely meet the panelists outside. And so, yes, thank you for attending and enjoy the rest of the conference.